Welcome back to Crit and Crit. I am Axion.
I'm Scint.
We are continuing through the final stages of Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy V. Wow, why did I get that screw up?
Wishful thinking.
No, I like FF5.
But I know you like 6 better.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll get to 6 one day. Final Fantasy V. And our discussion of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Really looks like she's had better days.
Yeah.
What is that, confusion?
Yeah.
You know what else is confusing?
This story?
Yeah, I mean, you know how bad it gets when you let a clearly fascist government take direct control over the educational system for your country? It goes real bad. And that's exactly what Voldemort does in this plot. The opening scene, he is hovering the still form of Professor Burbage, who teaches Muggle studies at Hogwarts, or did until he straight up murdered her in front of everybody at his meeting. Because she teaches that Muggles are people just like us, when they should really be taught, that they are cattle. Like, sane people stuff. So that's fun. And as we mentioned earlier, Hogwarts is now compulsory for all true-blooded mages to attend, while the Muggleborns, clearly you stole your wand, even though everyone can prove that that's not how that works. But, when you have liars and murderers in charge of the government, who cares about honesty anymore?
Well, also,
honesty is...
you can't just go ask the wand seller because he has mysteriously disappeared.
Oh yeah, because he's been captured by Voldemort, because Voldemort is obsessed with finding the Elder Wand, and he thinks that Ollivander can help him with this, and also figure out why his wand won't work against that pesky Harry Potter. Things he might have learned if he'd, learned something other than how to be a mass murderer creep in school. But, yeah, it very, very much feels like a huge shift has taken place in the wizarding world, even though most people do not approve of Voldemort's philosophy. Most people are just too afraid to speak up because, if you cross Wizard Hitler, you get dead pretty quick. Or you have a few who are so ambitious and self-serving that they don't really care who they're serving as long as they get to be in charge. Hello, Professor Umbridge. We didn't miss you. But yeah, she's, I think, the most prevalent example of she wasn't a Death Eater, but she definitely gets along with them real well, which is, usually the part when you realize that you want to stop and rethink your entire existence. No, she just starts flying up a storm and intimidating everybody she can because, well, it's not like she has anything good going for her in her life, so she has to lash out at others. Can you tell I've worked retail way too long?
Just a tad.
But yeah, so as a part of this new compulsory education is the, blood registration that's going on, which is what Umbridge is actually put in charge of. Fair hearings to assess those of Muggle birth, and to prove that you're really a half-blood, and that you can be trusted with a wand, and you didn't just steal your magic from someone else. Because, that's how it works. That's how this random chance gene works. And it absolutely doesn't ignore the existence of squibs. At all. It's not at all contradictory with, internal lore, which is even pointed out by the characters, but nope, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But again, when you have mass murderers in charge of the government, you can't really raise too much of a stink without getting dead, or worse. And we're not even sure that, the charges being brought up against people are legitimate, because, while Ron and Harry are, disguised at the Ministry, Ron, as Reg Cattermole, is threatened with, if you don't get this leak fixed in my office by the time I'm back from your wife's hearing, I might just have you brought up on trial as well. So, it just goes to prove that there's no actual basis behind any of the policies they're putting through other than fear-mongering and,
Power
racist ideology. Yep, that too. So, yeah, and this is the crew they have put in charge of the education of every witch and wizard in Britain. Every legitimate witch and wizard in Britain. To the point where they also have, their little snatcher squads wandering the streets to look for truants. Because, this is our priority. We can't have anybody with the power not marching in lockstep with us. So we're going to put the Caros, who really like torturing students, in charge of things under Severus Snape, who doesn't give about anybody but Slytherin. Sorry, did I say that?
Yep, but that's okay.
Probably should bleep that out. But yeah.
We'll get it in post.
Okay. So yeah. Hogwarts has gone rapidly downhill. I guarantee most of the other staff is there just to try and protect as many of the kids as they can, because sometimes when the regime has gone completely off the deep end, you're not in a position to openly resist, but you can offer harbors. Which will, of course, get you in all sorts of trouble if you are caught doing such, and this is no exception. So yeah. Several students, as we mentioned before, do their best to lead a resistance. Ginny, Luna, and Neville are the ringleaders, and they had quite a few people also helping out until punishment started cracking down even harder, and then Luna got snatched off the Hogwarts Express on the way home for the holidays, so everybody kind of, died down after that.
Yep.
But Neville keeps it up, because Neville has come such a long way over the past few books. He has really come into his own, and he is absolutely here to ruin Voldemort's day, which I am utterly here for.
As we learned in a prior story, Neville is also an alternate chosen one, so this is really where this kind of shows him coming into his potential. And really seeing what he's capable of.
Yep. It's amazing what you can achieve when you finally have confidence in your abilities. And you're not being terrorized by your potions teacher every 5 minutes. But yeah, so the students are all, by and large, aware of what is happening at Hogwarts. And I mean this not in the sense of, yes, of course, they notice things that are going badly at Hogwarts, but I mean, the larger political ramifications thereof, whereas in the real world, when things like this start to happen, it's not always clear if the students, depending on what level you're at, are fully aware of the implications. They know that the bad guys are winning, have taken over, are very clearly trying to push an agenda that is going to get a lot of good people, some of the people they know, killed if they get their way. So, of course, they want to fight against it as much as they can. Of course, they want to raise whatever trouble they can. They want to give whatever headache they can to the Death Eaters, because that's the only way they can resist right now. And, well, that's the thing about education. When done well, you learn a lot about the power structures that you live in. They're only there to learn about magic, but you can just see from observation what's happening with that education, what's happening with that magic, what's happening with the power structure as the Death Eaters have taken over it. And you can develop your own conscience on this matter, determine, am I going to stand with what I'm told to do by the now fascist-controlled Daily Prophet, or am I going to look at more independent sources that are not under the thumb of Wizard Genocide Man, and figure out for myself what I think is right and wrong, when it's honestly glaringly obvious in this point. The only leeway we can really give morally for people to capitulate is those who are directly threatened, as in, like, the case of Xenophilius Lovegood, who has nothing left but Luna. So when she's taken, of course he's going to try and turn Harry in when he just shows up at the house, because
it's an act of desperation.
He's desperate and wants his daughter to live. As opposed to, like, Umbridge, who has nothing she cares about, and is just like, ooh, I get more power to punish people because I've never been satisfied with anything in my life. My middle name is Karen. I don't actually know what her middle name is, and I don't care.
Honestly, there's a part of me that thinks that Umbridge is to some degree, a social sadist who is doing a lot of this solely because she enjoys the idea of people being under her thumb.
I bet she'd do great on Twitter today.
I mean, we would not be the first ones to point out the similarities between Umbridge and some of Rowling's more recent behaviors.
Oh, I still lean with Skeeter on that one.
Oh, there's definitely some similarities there, too.
But, yeah. This basically just comes down to, like, the Death Eaters know, like, History 101 here. You need to control the narrative. And to control the narrative, you need to make sure that only your version of history is taught. The South is real bad about this with regards to the Civil War and the CSA, because the Daughters of the Confederacy in the waning days of the war realized very quickly they had to do some pretty dang hard damage control, which is where we got stuck with the whole "it was about states' rights" idiocy, when if you look at the frickin' Confederate Constitution, it outright says you can't ban slavery, which completely takes the legs off that argument, but whoever said the Confederates could read.
It's also a matter of, it's about states' rights. It's about states' rights to do what? To enslave, other human beings. But anyway, we're not here to talk about American history, we're here to talk about Harry Potter.
Yeah, but again, like, the point is, control the education for a generation. You've controlled the narrative or history for quite some time, because it'll take years to sort through all the damage you've done to primary sources and everything else, because, of course, the next step is going to be to hide any and all information that conflicts with what they want you to know. That's why they won't let any Muggleborns there, because that undermines their idea that Muggles are worthless and can never produce anything of magical value. That's why they won't let you learn, Defense Against the Dark Arts. We just want you to learn how to do the Dark Arts so you stop yelling at us for doing that. We don't want you to learn how Muggles live, we want you to learn how to subjugate them. Nice and friendly stuff for kids.
For kids!
We call this indoctrination, but apparently, it's only called that if, the majority disagrees with it. Even though the term itself is connotatively neutral, because indoctrinate just means to bring someone into the teachings of a group, and I could indoctrinate a D&D group by just showing them, this is a D20, here's how you roll it and what you use it for. Look, I've given you information for how to do a thing. Oh no, I've indoctrinated. I'm sorry, I'm done.
Feel better? Actually, I should probably say.
No, I don't feel better. But, yeah, just suffice to say...
we're not going to fight the robot.
Okay, good. But, yeah. The Death Eaters taking over Hogwarts is symptomatic of a greater evil at play in Wizarding Society, and Muggle Society for that matter by implication. But because it's just a school, a lot of adults think it's not going to affect them. It's absolutely going to affect you. One of the biggest fallacies I hear in my day-to-day life is, well, I don't care about funding public education because it doesn't affect me. Like, do you never want to get a lawyer or a doctor or a firefighter to help you with anything? You realize that public school is where most of them get their initial training. And if you keep wanting stupid people to run society, you're going to have a lot more dead people a lot faster. The term is, well, enlightened self-interest. Yes, this doesn't directly benefit me, but it indirectly does, so I should probably help with it. Public works are a big example of this. Like, I don't usually drive on this particular highway, but I eat the food that the semis that drive on it bring to the store, so I should probably help pay for the highway's upkeep so we don't have as many car accidents.
Aw, the poor guy is scared of Ifrit.
Wouldn't you be?
I mean, I'm not made from a book. He apparently is.
Gotcha. Yeah, what do you have to say about the whole education situation in Deathly Hallows?
Well, first and foremost, this is just par for the course when it comes to these kind of tyrannical environments. It is a core facet of any kind of tyrannical system to seize control of the point of education, because that is the primary means by which most people better their lot in life. 90% of all ability to do stuff is locked behind some manner of access to education. If you want to control a populace, controlling education is the easiest and most direct way to do it, and we can see this reflected in real life. We see that many of the power structures currently that are trying to make headway on taking control of the environment are doing so by dismantling, disengaging, and damaging the ability of people to gain access to educational information. I mean, to look at the blatantly obvious situation, look at Florida right now with all of the stuff going on that's damaging the accessibility of any kind of education that doesn't match the desired perspectives of the people in power. Oh, there he goes.
The contrast of the happy fanfare with what you just said is just chef's kiss. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else to add here.
Not much to add, I think.
Alright,
We'll continue next time. Yep. See you then.
Bye.